Okay, now that we've got that done, we're going to go ahead and click Start and start working on our Squarespace site. So it might prompt you to answer a few questions. You can quickly do that just based on your own personal answers. You can even choose skip. There was a little skip option, totally up to you. I'm just kind of filling in some random stuff here. Okay, so now we've got our test site ready to go. So the very first thing I want to show you guys is here where you see this little arrow. If you click on the arrow, it's going to open up your website in basically the full size view so that you can see from here what your website is going to look like to anybody visiting your site now. And then if you click the arrow again, it's going to take you back into the back end of your site. Okay, and the next view that we can check out is here where there's this little arrow, this little gray bar. If you click it, you're going to see these different options here. So you'll be able to view it in the iPad view or tablet view, and you can see what it'll look like for someone on a tablet. And then you can even click up here, and this is cool because you can see what it's going to look like to your readers who are on their phone. So that's a pretty handy little feature. So I'm going to drag my site back in. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start here at Pages. And then you'll see as soon as you click over onto Pages that you've got main navigation, secondary navigation, and then you have not linked. So you can, let's just go back over here to the web view. And this looks a little funny here because as I mentioned, it's not in the web view at that point, so it looks like everything's cramped, but that's not actually what it's going to look like. So just wanted to make that little note. So anyway, so we've got the main navigation, and you'll see home, that's the home screen, and then photos, ceremony, you'll see ceremony here, reception, after party, accommodations, registry, and RSVP. These are all the things that are in your navigation bar. And then some themes have a secondary navigation bar, and then not linked, which is really handy. I use that all the time for forms that I want my clients to fill out, or just pages that I'm sending my clients, because actually for what I do, for my design work, all my clients, my design clients get their own page on my website, but I don't want everybody to see that page, so I just create a new page that's not linked, and then I can send that to my clients. So that's handy. I have a ton of those. And then in the navigation here, you can use their pages. Obviously, you're probably going to want to edit those for your own site. So you'll see here that they say demo. And if you click the little gear icon, it's going to say modifying example content. To edit example content, you must first create a page like this. I can't talk. So if you want to create a page like that, you would say create, and then it's going to remove the demo, the little demo note that you have next to it. And then you can change the title. So let's just say whatever, example page, the page title. You can disable a page while you're working on it if you want, and then you can add a description. You can change the URL slug. So this is what comes after your domain. So let's say, like for me, for example, it's getpolished.net. So then this would be getpolished.net/photos. You can change that to whatever you'd like it to be. You can make it a password protected page if you have a page that you want to send someone that only they can access. You can do that. That's handy. You can add a thumbnail image. Some of the templates will use that, maybe at the top. You'll be able to play around and see these things as you go, but this is kind of self-explanatory, but just wanted to show you how to make those changes. And then you can do the same thing here. You'll see this little icon that looks like several lines in a row. That's because on this particular template, we've got a home page that scrolls through different, basically, sub-pages. So you'll see if we hit reception, it's going to take you to this place. It's on the home page, but it's technically a different quote-unquote page. After party, it's going to just scroll you down a little bit farther. Now accommodations, because it's now in its own page, it's still in the navigation bar because it's in the main navigation section, but it is not part of this parallax. I can't even think of the name I'm looking for here, but it's a separate page on your website. So it's not all, these are all on your home page and accessible from your home page, and these are separate. So you can click here to add a section. If you're using a template that has one of these parallax menus, you'd click add a section to add a new page or gallery or whatever. And then if you want to add more things to your navigation bar, you would click this little plus button. And then you have lots of things you can choose from here. You can create a page, you can add a product, a cover page, folder, album, index. So the index, as you'll see, is this right here. And then you can add a blog. If you don't have a blog and you want a blog, add a blog, a gallery. You can add an events page. Just feel free to dig in there and play around. So now we're going to go ahead and click back into what it's at home, where it's at home, and then we're going to go to Design next. That's the next tab we're going to visit. And from here you'll see I have lots of different options. We're going to start in logo and title. Now here you can change the title of your site. You can add a tagline, and then what's really cool is that you can go in here and add a logo image. So if you have a logo for your business, you can really easily add that, and then I'll show you later how you'll change the size of that if you want to add that. And then you can add a favicon, and that is that little image you see at the top of your browser. Like if you're using Chrome, you'll have different tabs open, and each tab will have its own little icon. That's a favicon, and so you can feel free to add that. Totally not necessary if you don't want it. And then I'm going to come next. We're going to visit template. Now this is where we chose this Charlotte template. So if you wanted a new template, you would just hit install new template and you'd follow the prompts that they give you. Style editor. You're going to spend a lot of time in style editor as you're building your site, because this is going to allow you to make changes to the style of your site. So the fonts and the colors and the sizes and the padding and container width, and like I said earlier, the logo size. You would do all of that here from this style section. So you'll want to play around once you started to work on your site, and you're picking your fonts, you are picking your colors. You just go through here and play around with all the different options that they give you, and every template has its own options. So you're always going to have the basic options like fonts and colors, but certain templates have certain options that other templates don't have. For this one, for example, you have this transparent on banner images option. So there's nothing here right now because I haven't uploaded a cover image, and I've created this page basically. So now it's removed the demo content. So I'd have to go in and add my own image. That's why I just wanted you to know why that's blank right there. But you can start just going through here and playing around. But this is a handy little tip to note. If you're wanting to work on a certain part of your website, so when I'm building websites, I come in and I'm like, oh, I want to work on this right here. So you'll see the little blue box that surrounds it. I'll click on it, and then I will be given this option to choose my font. And I can go through and choose all these different fonts in here, and then you can change your style. So this is how thick it is, or italic, font size, line height, letter spacing, text transform. So once you click into a section, it's going to show you over here everything that applies to that said section. So that section that I'm hovering over or I'm highlighting, clicking on, it's going to tell me what I can change. And you'll just see, if you watch over here on the left as I click in different parts of the site, that I'll get different options over here. If I want to go to the footer and change things in the footer, I just click on the footer, and it's going to tell me if I want to change, things up here. If I go up to my navigation bar, it's going to give me the options for that. And then I can even start, if I wanted to click into my actual website, I would have to save and then go back to design, go back to home and pages, And now I can start playing around. Let's say I want to go to a specific page. I'll go to accommodations. So once I'm in that page, now I can go back into design and the style editor. And now I can make changes. I can see if I have separate options to change here within my page. So that is a place you'll probably spend a really significant amount of your time in. Check out Page Style Editor. That is for your shop if you have it. I'm not going to really go in depth into that because we're just kind of working on the basic bones of a website right now, but you can feel free to play around in there. Lock screen. This is what a page would, a visitor to your site would see if you have a password protected page or whole site maybe. And then announcement bar. A lot of people choose to use this. If we enable it, we're going to have a bar up here on the top, and you can add whatever you want it to say, like, you know, sign up today to receive blah blah freebie. So now you'll see a little announcement bar. So maybe you've seen lots of people have this on their site. If they're using Squarespace, this is how they enable that. I'm just going to go back to disable. And then mobile information bar. You can enable a mobile info bar if you wanted. I don't ever use this. Squarespace badge. I don't play around with the Squarespace badge. The custom CSS. This is not really so much for people who are brand new to this, but if you're experienced in CSS, you want to start making some changes to your site that you can't do from the style editor that we just looked through. This is where you would go to add your CSS code, or maybe you're following a tutorial that someone has written about making a custom change to a Squarespace template, and it tells you to add CSS. That's where you do it. And advanced, that's probably something you're never going to mess with. So I'm going to go back to home now, and we're going to move along. Commerce, I'm not going to spend much time in. This is where you'll access different order numbers, inventory, discounts, payments, all of that. So this is just for people who are running a shop from their page or from their site. And then metrics is super cool. Metrics is filled with, you guessed it, metrics. So it's got traffic overview, mobile usage, RSS subscribers, refers, popular content, search engine queries, site search queries, activity log. It's kind of like Google Analytics. So if you're familiar with that at all, then you'll probably feel pretty at home here. But just lots and lots of information that will help you make better decisions for your site. And then settings, finally. This is where we'll change basic things like your information, your business information. From here, you could add your business name, address, different things like that. And then regional permissions. Permissions is what you would do if you were wanting to add a contributor. So let's say you have several contributors to your blog and you want them to have access. This is where you would go to do that. And then billing and account information, kind of self-explanatory. And then basic information about your site. You can just kind of poke around in here. A lot of this stuff is just really self-explanatory. But then domains, that's where you're going to come when you're ready to publish your site and go live with your whatever domain you are using. You can buy a domain right through here, or you can connect a third-party domain. This is my built-in domain. I would not use that, obviously. And then you can actually purchase an email. Like if you're purchasing your domain, even if you're not purchasing your domain through Squarespace, you can still buy your email. It's pretty cool. It integrates with Google Apps, so you can really easily add an email. So, like for example, I got my hello@getpolished.net through Squarespace. So you just kind of follow those prompts that they give you. And then connected accounts, that's important. You want to start with that for sure. That's how you're going to connect your social media accounts. So then it'll enable you to add like social media icons to the bottom of your, say, the footer of your website, and you would do that by connecting all of your different social media accounts. And you'll just follow the prompts they give you. It's really easy. And then blogging. This is where you can change some things like your post URL format. Like this, for example, is obviously the date formatting. Your comment setting, you can mess with in here. If, you know, Discus, if you use Discus. And then security. This is if you wanted to make your entire site password protected. There's, you know, a time and a place for that, certainly. So if you are making a site that's password protected, that's where you need to go. Advanced, you won't really mess with. And then commerce, once again, is something that's going to be a separate video for another time. And this particular video is mostly aimed at people who are just starting their website for the first time. And then there's a little help section too, guys, if you find yourself needing help. They actually have awesome help in Squarespace. So not only can you get help from the people at Squarespace, but you can get help in the forums of Squarespace. There's tons and tons of answers there. So feel free to poke around there if you have questions still that we did not answer today. But thank you for watching, and hopefully this was helpful for you in kind of understanding the basics of Squarespace, and go out there and create your own amazing, guys. Bye.